Hey guys, it's Morgan coming back to you with another weekly Shlog here from Highland Cycles in Montrose, Colorado. We got Richie on the sticks over there. I'm here working on dirt bikes. We're dangerously close to going to Baja to race the 1000. We just got done with the video that definitely one of our most popular videos of me breaking my 300XC. So things are good here. We show you lots of cool dirt bike stuff. If you're new here, consider sticking with us all the way to the end of the video, watching the whole thing, and maybe giving us a subscribe, because that is the easiest, cheapest, freest way to help us out, and it really does make a huge difference. Yeah, so if that kind of stuff sounds like fun, here we go. All right, so starting today, we are working on this 2018 300 XCW is what it is. I'm heading to look at it. It's super dirty. It's cold outside though right now, so I'm not going to wash it yet. Partially because what I'm doing is fork seals, mousse, because he tried to go with tubeless and realized what a terrible decision that was pretty quickly. So we're going to put a mousse in that front tire. Going to do the fork seals, full fork service, bushings and everything. Then we're going to service the shock, put a bladder in it, and then we'll wash it once we get done with that stuff and make sure it runs good. I think it does. I don't think he's got any problems with the way it runs. But yeah, so because we clean all the suspension parts and like that stuff anyway really, really well, I don't really care about washing it beforehand because, yeah, it's not going to get in the motor, not going to do anything like that. So yeah, let's yank this front wheel off and get the forks off, get those draining, and while they're draining, we'll take the tire off and get the tubeless the heck off of this thing, put a mousse in it, and then I'll show you guys what we're doing to the forks. I've shown you lots of these forks. These are Explorer forks. I won't go super deep, but real quick, I do want to say a massive thank you to Tokyo Off-Road. Mark at Tokyo Off-Road sent me the XRC bushings for my bike, because if you guys know, the Bendix, the bushings for the Bendix on all KTMs with starters, electric starters, 2-strokes that is, not the 4-strokes, 2-strokes. The bushings are junk. They're little Teflon aluminum things. They're terrible. They're horrible, and KTM shouldn't use them, but they do because they're cheap. At certain times, they wear and they cause problems. So the key is to go with these bronze bushings. And so Mark was kind enough to get those to me really, really fast in 2 days, and I'm going to have the Bendix here tomorrow, so I'll be filming a video of how to install that and kind of what the maintenance schedule should be on that Bendix. Here is the Bendix. If you haven't watched the video, guys, definitely check it out. This thing is locked. There he goes. But it locks out and doesn't go in sometimes. It's all, anyway, it's junk. So I'm going to get that fixed, and we will be ready to rock and roll. All right, guys, so I got the forks over here, and I got this chalked up here, and we're gonna use our clicker koozie to put that on there to help protect this as we set it down there to drain.
That's weird. Hey, how you doing?
Oh, my Bendix?
Yeah.
Oh yeah, I guess it's not that weird when you are on the internet and you talk to a lot of people. Oh yeah.
Do you know how old my Bendix is?
Oh yeah.
It's the original one with 760 hours on it.
Yeah. Same with the one in Rich's. Rich just bought my.
I didn't know you were supposed to lube them.
Rich.
Well, yeah, that's kind of what I'm here for. Is like, well, I got
Rich.
a bunch of stuff this weekend. So what am I supposed to do?
So Rich bought my old bike because I'm getting that beta.
Yeah.
So you're not supposed to lube them with like grease on inside the Bendix, but you are supposed to lube the bushings every now and then, and you're supposed to lube the teeth, which that seems silly because it just all flings off.
I got some special green.
And it fucking all flies off of there anyway.
Well, I mean, every time I go back in there, it's nowhere to be found.
Yeah, exactly. So whatever. But then the biggest thing is where did they go? This is the upgrade for the bushings.
Yeah.
The XRCs.
Yeah.
From, this came from, no, my 18.
Oh, okay.
No, I'm keeping this. Yeah, to him.
Oh, wow.
Because I'm getting a new beta. I'm getting a beta here. Well, it'll be to my buddy Dan this month, November, but then I'll probably get it we'll probably meet each other hopefully down in Arizona and pick it up down there because he's
Put a bottom end in it, haven't you?
All right, guys, so check it out. Got 2 clicker koozies down there protecting those. So now I'm just going to take these things apart, service them. If I see anything interesting, I'll show you. It does look like he had someone set him up with some base adjustable base valves, but these are not the ones that we use. So I don't know who makes those. Those look really, really nice. The ones we use are just the stock KTM ones. I mean, I don't know that these are better or worse, but they look pretty cool. I like them. So yeah, I'm gonna go ahead and get this all done. I'll bring you in if I see anything super interesting. Otherwise, the next thing you see will be me ripping tubeless off of a bike. All right, guys, so we got everything apart. I still got to do some cleaning on these tubes, but I just want to show you what I found here. These are cool. These are nice looking pieces. Someone's obviously using Racetech Gold valves and valving them. I have obviously no idea what the shim stack really looks like in there, so but I'm sure it's good. They looks like they did a good job. They definitely ran some thread locker on here, which I don't ever put thread locker on the bottom. None of the TBT guys that I know of at least do. We put thread locker obviously right here, but on this part I wouldn't do it. I'm cleaning that off because it's got an O-ring, so you don't really have to tighten it down that tight. The O-ring is actually what keeps the oil from coming out. So I'm not sure why they did that. I don't like that part, but it looks like as a tuner they did a good job. I know this gentleman's super happy with his bike, so that's good. And I like these parts. I think these parts are pretty cool. So gonna finish these up and then we'll pull the shock off and show you what we're doing there. All right, guys, I got the forks on. I forgot to tell you where you guys can get a clicker koozie. I'm super happy with these products. We've been selling a ton of these things. They're available on our website, www.highland-cycles.com, in the parts and miscellaneous area. If you pull down menu. Anyway, there'll be a link in the description. Buy one of these things. They're super helpful for doing forks. Buy 2 if you want to drain them like that. 1 is really all you need because you're usually just working on 1 at a time. But those things are rad. I'm really, really happy about them. All right, now I'm going to get the shock off. All right, guys. Got everything out of the ultrasonic. It's super duper duper clean. We got the nitrogen reservoir with the piston off. And now we're going to be installing a CSR bladder kit. Pretty simple, guys. Put a whole bunch of red stuck nuts on here. And I'm going to screw it in using a strap wrench. Got a brand new O-ring in here because we had to heat this up a whole bunch to get that loose. So you put a bunch of heavy thread locker on there, so we'll do the same. Honestly, with that much thread locker on there, it's probably okay, but use a quick strap wrench just to give it that extra little oomph. There we go. Now we're going to install the actual nitrogen bladder. Here's the thing, guys. Let me show you what I do. And I don't know. I think I've shown this before on the channel, but take a little bit of grease. I'm going to run it in here around this lip. There's a groove that this goes into, and I like to grease that because that's like the final seal to keep the nitrogen from getting past it. So I've actually put them together dry and had it leak. So there we go. And it uses just a nitrogen style, or a little rubber ball style valve here. So this screw is just covering that up, but we use a needle to fill it. So now that is all ready. I'm not going to install it yet because we haven't put oil in this thing yet. Now I got to put a new seal and bushing on this. I've shown that lots of times, so I'm not going to show it again. But we'll be back here in just a bit when we install everything and show you how we bleed it with a bladder. All right, I'm going to lower this in here. The other thing I do, I take a little bit of the shock fluid and put it around this edge. Just to help lube that up as it goes in. And we want it to overflow just a tiny bit. So I'll scoot our pan under here. Go a little bit, there we go. That's what we want. There we go. Now we're gonna put fluid in here. We're gonna bleed it like a normal shock, up and down, and then we'll flip it over. We got bleed cups, bleed the rest of it out, and we'll be good to go. And as always, guys, do not ever tighten that thing down too tight. There's a little metal like lip. When it touches the other metal, stop there. Sweet. Shock done. Put it back on the bike and we'll get on to the next job. All right, guys. Next on the lift, and it actually never left my lift, is the BMW, the G650 GS with bad fuel pump. So we got an all balls rebuild kit, and now we're going to rebuild this thing. So I'm going to show you how we do that. First things first, we have to cut these bands off, which I actually really like these bands. They're kind of a pain in the ass if you don't have the right tools, but if you do have the right tools, they're actually a really good way to go because they are super secure. So I'm going to get those cut off. We'll get this thing up over to the bench, and we'll rebuild it for you guys. All right, there we go. Pump out. So the pump that we're replacing is actually inside here. So what we've got to do is figure out how to remove this plastic thing from the this situation. So it looks like it's got these rubbery dudes, which should be all that kind of keeps me from getting it out of here. There we go. Alright, so now we're relatively free. Let's take these out. Alright, and then there's a plug right here. Unplug that. We're going to need a pair of pliers. It's got a little thing to crimp. All right, there we go. Now that is the pump. This is the level sending unit. So we'll figure out how we can get that off of there. And all this stuff, guys, is just pretty cheap plastic, so you want to be really careful not to screw it up. There we go. Boom. All right, now this hose needs to come off, and the kit comes with a new one, I believe. Let's go grab the kit real fast. There we go. All balls kit does come with a new hose. Comes with a new filter, pump. This is definitely not always my favorite way to go, guys. I would rather go OEM, if I'm honest. The problem with that is that OEM for BMW is crazy expensive. This one comes with these. I'm going to save these for something else maybe that comes into the shop, but I don't like those in a fuel system. I like to use the stepless ones. They're actually just quite a bit better. It looks like this one doesn't need to be this long, so let's pull it. So what I'm going to try to do, because obviously I can't use hot, like fire on this to heat this up and melt it. I'm just going to try to take a little, a razor blade and try to split that to slide it off. There we go. Now we're completely free from the thing. So this looks correct, which is good. Now we gotta figure out how to get this pump out of here. Looks like we got a couple tabs here we got to peel back. I think we're going to have to just go for it. There we go. All right, now we can go. There we go. Pump out. Now let's drop pump in. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna put this on first. Now that I've thought about it and fought with it. That's all right. And then put the clamp on it. So let's get our stepless clamp kit. That's about right. Put this on. And that is one tight fit, as it should be. And with this clamp, I'm going to put it over here to the side. I don't want it out here like this because I think it would clear, but we'll just put it like that. There we go. Now we'll drop this back down in here. Now, take our plug, plug it back in, guy, put it back on. Put it on, take this hose. Right. That is going to be a pain. I'm going to heat that up just a little bit. Very carefully with this torch. There's no gas on this though. That should be plenty. There we go. You got to be obviously crazy careful with that, guys. Don't do that if you don't feel comfortable with it. Tool in there. I think that's pretty much it. I'm going to drop this thing back in. We got new, more stepless clamps for these. I'm going to all put it back in, and then we're going to see if this thing will fire up. All right, guys, we got it all just hooked up right now. It's not all cleaned up, and I am going to repair those wires. Some guys are like, I hope you replace this whole harness. I'm not replacing the whole harness. And it said something about back probes. I don't know, man. I don't know if you can back probe these things. They got a crazy, super duper plasticky thing. Anyway, whatever. I am going to fix that and make it perfect. It'll be just fine. But let's see if it works. Oh, I just heard the pump do something. Aha! Winning! I love it. Totally winning. That is so awesome. He's going to be so stoked. I just talked to this gentleman yesterday. He came by to check on the bike. I told him what was going on and what we had found. And that we had the pump on order. So it's here. The bike's running. Super stoked. I feel like I did a good job diagnosing that. Hopefully you guys follow along and kind of, I guess, maybe saw the method to the madness of diagnosing something like that. So now I'm gonna go through, clean all this stuff up, make it look brand new and shiny, fancy, awesome. And yeah, then we'll get on to the next job. Oh, by the way, Shlog fans, sadness on my 300. Check out those videos. All right, guys, got it all buttoned up. Turn this thing on. Turn the alarm off. Whoop. Boom! Just like that, works. Looks like the fuel level gauge still works. I read somewhere online someone did a repair like this and the fuel level gauge didn't work after they did it. I don't know what they did. Maybe they hurt the wires, like messing with, I don't know, but fuel level gauge works, everything's good. Got those wires all cleaned up. I actually ended up, sorry I didn't show you, but what I ended up doing is I thought they had a jumper harness for this thing where you could buy just that piece, those two pieces. You can't, but that's okay. What I did was I just cut the wires, put new, reattached them with these, which are nice waterproof solder connectors. These things are awesome. And I used to buy them from Moose Racing for way too much money, and I found them online on Amazon for like 800 of them for like 20 bucks. Anyway, I did these on all those wires and then wrapped them all up in electrical tape, made it really nice. Basically just as good as factory, really, because honestly, the way those wires are all twisted and turned up, they weren't that great. But yeah, bike's running great. Really happy about that, guys. Ended up only costing them, I think even with my labor, it was less than $300. So super stoked. Yeah, back on the road. We'll get on to the next job. All right, guys, next on the lift is some suspension, some KYB super duper radness that we're putting on for a 2023 300RR race. Good friend Lane, the Arkansas Assassin, is ready to upgrade some suspension. I actually rode that bike stock, and it's actually pretty darn good stock. But Lane is 200 and something pounds, and he goes pretty fast, and it doesn't quite hold up to that. It's, like I said, it's pretty freaking good stock. Honestly, as far as all the bikes I've ridden, bone stock, the Beta 300RR with KYB front and rear is, chassis-wise, is one of the ones you could get away with probably just not doing anything unless you ride fast and you want it to be like really good. So we're going to valve this thing. I'll show you kind of what we're doing as we go. All right, guys, got the first fork apart. I want to show you something. This is a brand new Beta fork, and I don't know. There you go. You guys see that mark right there? That's weird. I can almost feel it with my thumbnail. It's not bad, and it's definitely not where, I don't think it could ever actually go through the seal just because where this isn't the fork, but that's not all that cool. That would be on a brand new bike. We'll check out the other side, see if it's on there too. I don't know how that would actually happen, but all right, guys, boom. Real quick, just going to show you the difference between our stack. This is the stock stack down here. Here is our stack up here. Very different. This is the mid-speed valve, just so you guys know, if you don't know. This is the mid-speed valve, the one that rides inside here. This is the compression stack. We'll go over that here in a bit. But yeah, this is the rebound part. This is the compression part. Yeah, super different. I'm not going to go deep into it, but we are setting this thing up for rockier, nastier, Colorado high mountain kind of stuff with the ability to then go out into the faster desert and still work pretty well there. It's really can't have best of both worlds, no matter what your suspension tuner tells you. If you really set it up well for one, you are not going to have it perfect for the other, just so you know. But with our stuff, I feel like you can have it one way or the other and then it be pretty darn good and safe in the other stuff. So this will be really good in the rocky stuff and be very safe at speed out in the desert. So yeah, we'll get this thing back together and I'll show you what the compression stack looks like. All right, guys, got the compression apart here. This is stock. This is ours. Really, the big difference is down in here. I'll just give you a quick rundown. This is gonna, a lot of these are basically just space savers, like to push the, like hold the valve stack up against the piston, right? Because like these aren't gonna do much down here. So they're gonna hold it really tight against that thing. So we might end up having to use those to make up the room, because when we get this all on there, if the nut goes too far down, I'm going to have to stack some of these in here. So really, we want to look at around here forward. Ours is just a lot flexier, basically, to put it the easy way. We have a bigger crossover, like a more drastic crossover. This is our crossover shim. That's their crossover shim. So it's a little more definitely going to be more cush early in the stroke. So it's going to be a lot more plush early, but then it's still going to ramp up and then hold back when you hit something big. That's where the kind of magic of the being able to ride in the rocks and do the fast stuff. So really excited about getting this in there and getting Lane to check it out. So I'm gonna do all this, do the other fork, and then I'll bring you guys back in when we get the shock apart. All right, guys, got the shock apart here. So it's a little confusing because they're bigger stacks, but this is the compression stack, the stock one. This is our compression stack. It's pretty different. It's definitely a lot more movement. The stock one was pretty darn stiff, very moto-y, which a lot of KYB stuff can be. And that's good if you're going fast, doing moto-y kind of stuff, even though it's a beta and it's supposed to be off-road. They had a 2 shim crossover situation. We just got one, a bunch of other differences. The rebound stack, that was super different. So this is the rebound stack here for the stock, and then that's ours. Super, super small. This thing was probably really slow to extend, which in off-road is no good, because when you're hitting rocky stuff and choppy rocky stuff, you need that wheel to get back out and catch the next hit. Whereas like on a motocross track, if you jump and land, you want that thing to settle down and go nice and easy and not come right back up too quickly. So that's one of the big differences there. So build this thing up. All right, guys, that's the end of the week, end of the Shlog. And this is gonna be the last Shlog you see for a couple weeks, because we are heading to Mexico Wednesday. So very, very soon, the next 2 days from when this drops. But anyway, very soon we're heading to Mexico, so I'm not going to be filming at the shop. I'll be filming a ton down in Mexico, so make sure you subscribe to the channel. If you made it this far and you enjoyed the video, give us a thumbs up and definitely subscribe, guys. We're going to have a ton of content coming from Baja. From the 1000, we're racing with TBT and the 400X bike and Ryan Liebelt. It is going to be epic. We have a really good shot at winning the 40 Pro class. So make sure you subscribe. Pray for us for safety and for speed. So anyway, I hope you guys enjoyed this one. I hope what we're doing here at Highland Cycles is inspiring you guys to work on, but more importantly, get out and ride your dirt bikes.